Want to go now to Memphis, Tennessee, where several additional public servants are being held accountable for their actions preceding the death of Tyre Nichols.
The move comes just days after the release of body cam footage from the traffic stop where police severely beat him. Nichols died in a hospital 3 days later from his injuries. 5 officers were fired and charged with second-degree murder. Officials say additional charges could be filed in the weeks ahead.
CBS News correspondent Elise Preston is there on the ground in Memphis. She joins us now. Elise, welcome. So 3 Memphis Fire Department personnel were fired on Monday. Tell us what more you've learned about them and their role in responding to the scene of the arrest.
Well, good afternoon to you, Lana and Lilia. We do know that those three fire officials consisted of 2 EMTs who had been on the job just a matter of few years and a longtime seasoned lieutenant. The fire department says that all 3 of them drove to the scene where Tyre Nichols was beat that night of January 7th, but they did not administer aid for at least 7 minutes. And we see them on the tape not administering aid. We're told that they then transferred him to a hospital that was about 15 minutes later, once they were able to, or once they did tend to Mr. Nichols. We do know that they have been fired and they could also possibly face criminal charges.
Yeah, I was wondering about that because, Elise, just watching the video, not just of the brutal beating, but then the video of people just standing around, of not doing anything. I mean, we expect these public servants are there to protect us. They're there to save our lives when it comes to, people trained in EMS. Tell us a little bit more about, what have you heard regarding any possible charges besides the officers who were put on leave and the ones that we already know were charged with murder? Who else could be charged, and do you know anything of what possible charges they could face?
So we just checked in with the district attorney's office, and they said that charges they could be forthcoming. The DA is looking at everyone who was there that night. They are investigating, looking into very closely what happened to Tyre Nichols. I can tell you, I've spoken with the family multiple times, and they said what was so heartbreaking about this situation when they watched this video unfold. Not only this beating took place of Tyre Nichols, but they were upset that so many people were on scene and they did nothing to help. They said that they just watched them. It's also interesting now because days after that tape has been released, many people, including Attorney Crump, who's representing the family, they are calling for a law here in Tennessee in the name of Tyre Nichols, and it would require first responders to intervene when officers are behaving criminally. So that is also part of this conversation here when you look at the release of the tape, the aftermath of the tape, and the people who did not do anything either to stop the beating or to render aid.
A traffic stop.
Change. Yeah. Elise Preston, thank you so much for all of your reporting there.
Let's bring in Congresswoman Marilyn Strickland, representing the state of Washington. She's also the whip of the Congressional Black Caucus. Representative Strickland, welcome. So we are seeing tremendous anger and grief and some of the same questions being repeated following the release of this body cam footage. Tell us what you make of the video, the public's response, and how Memphis officials are responding in the aftermath of its release. Does that show any progress in your mind?
Well, the brutal beating by police officers of this young man was tragic and hard to watch. And the question we have to ask ourselves as a nation, how many more times does this have to keep happening before we engage in meaningful police reform?
Right.
The Congressional Black Caucus has taken the position of wanting to bring the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act back. The House Democrats passed it twice, and it got stalled in the Senate, and we're hoping that this example, again, is going to be an opportunity for us to come together and deal with meaningful reform to keep all of our communities safe.
And Congresswoman Strickland, can you just walk us through what are some of those most essential reforms that you're advocating for?
Well, first of all, our desired outcome is for this brutality to stop. We want to make sure that use of excessive force does not happen and it results in these tragic things. But some of the elements of the bill include getting rid of no-knock warrants, making sure that there is a national registry of police officers who are accused of excessive force so that they don't get hired by other departments. There's the very controversial issue of qualified immunity that got stuck in the Senate. And also just making sure that there are resources for training and making sure that racism and bias don't come into policing. And I tell folks, we can't necessarily legislate what's in people's hearts and minds, but we need justice and accountability and consequences, and we believe this is one way to make that happen.
Congresswoman, the Congressional Black Caucus has invited the Nichols family to attend the State of the Union. Do you think having lawmakers actually have to face this grieving family might have any impact in moving forward the George Floyd legislation?
I believe it can. I think that it's important for them to be there. We have asked President Biden to address justice and policing during his State of the Union address, and having this family present, I think, will have an impact. And I remind folks that the Republican majority is very slim. It's only 4 votes. And I believe that there may be Republicans in swing districts, people who understand that having justice reform is not mutually exclusive from having safe communities. You can have a safe community and you can have justice reform to make sure that people are not abusing their power and having these tragic consequences.
Safe communities for all.
That's right, safe communities for all.
Yeah. Congresswoman Marilyn Strickland, whip of the Congressional Black Caucus, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.